youth workers, welcome to Student Ministry Today. I am Jay Hyam. I welcome you and I'm glad you're here. It is Friday, November the 2nd, and I'm realizing today that we are just a little over a week and not quite a half, maybe just almost 2 weeks away from this year's National Youth Workers Convention, NYWC 18. Today is the 2nd. I leave for it on the 13th, so we're like, what, 12 days out from our departure to be down in St. Louis for the convention, and I am really getting excited about it. So what I want to do today is talk about it a little bit. NYWC, what makes it so great? Why do I love it so much? And why for the last, since 1999, why have I been such a huge supporter and promoter of the convention? So here's the deal. 1999 was my first full-time youth ministry job. I started working for a church here in the Pittsburgh area. I was hired in August. I began in September. And the first thing that I was told I had to do was register and attend the National Youth Workers Convention. And I remember that year it was in Cincinnati. We had a newborn baby, and my wife and I made the trip from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati, stayed in a Holiday Inn, and I was just blown away. Just absolutely blown away. From the very beginning to the very end of the convention, it was an amazing experience. It was like I had found where I belong. And I knew I was called to youth ministry. I never doubted that. But when I drove in and we went to that first session of the convention, I felt like I had found my home. I felt like I had found, exactly what it was that God was calling me into, and that is this incredible career of ministering to and discipling students. And from that point on, I was an attendee at every single convention from 1999 all the way up to 2005. In 2005, we made a job change and I became a summer camp director, but I still attended the conference because the camp that I worked for became an exhibitor, and I was able to still go to the convention, but this time as an exhibitor. But I was able to still do the general sessions and all that other stuff. And so even though my role had changed, I was still at the convention. I did miss 2006, but then 2007 I went back to a church and I returned right away to National Youth Workers Convention the fall of 2007. And with the exception of missing one other time when I was a church planner, I've been there every year since. So that's a lot of time in the convention world there. But I love it. It's a great place. For me in my career, it was huge in shaping how I thought and saw student ministry. Now, so a little bit of my background. I started doing youth ministry basically for two reasons. One, I was deeply feeling the call to minister to students. And two, the church that I was going to, the church I grew up in, had a great Sunday school program, a great children's ministry, but we really didn't have a youth group per se. There was nothing there that was calling teenagers together and discipling them and giving them some application to life. And so I started doing youth ministry as a student under the supervision of some parents who formed kind of a committee, a youth ministry committee kind of a thing. In 1996, I got married. My wife and I moved to a church that we called home for a number of years, and we were doing youth ministry as volunteers. We wanted to be involved in students. We were involved with the student ministry in the denomination level, through summer camps and winter camps. So we wanted to start a youth group in the church that we were attending. We volunteered to do that, and so we did that for a couple of years, and then from there we got a full-time summer camp position, and we went into full-time ministry in 1998. And then we started our full-time ministry with students in 1996 or 1999. And so National Youth Workers Convention has really been a place that has shaped how I see youth ministry, how I think about youth ministry, how I do youth ministry. It provided all of the education and training and equipping that has become part of what I do in youth ministry. It's shaped my philosophy for seeing students not just as the next church or the future church. I see students as the church. I mean, they're the church right now. And the convention helped me see that. It was an opportunity for me to, like I said, get training, but it was to hear from guys who had been in youth ministry for a while, got youth ministry, and were able to communicate principles that they used in their youth ministry that were effective and worked. And all I had to really do was kind of adapt it to the culture and context that I was in. So I cut my teeth those early years in youth ministry thanks to National Youth Workers Convention. I grew a ton, and it really helped me become I'm not going to say a great youth worker, because I think there are things I still need to be improving upon, even 20-some years later. But it really gave me that sense of what a youth worker is supposed to be doing and how to do it. And so the convention is all that. The other thing about the convention that I'll talk about now, I'll probably talk about this more later on, but the other thing about the convention that really impressed upon me was that it desired to reconnect the youth workers to God. That it was a time and a place where we could unplug from the stress, the normalcies, the work of ministry, and be ministered to. Tick and Mike Yaconelli, those guys really had a heart for caring for the soul and the heart of the youth worker, and they were very good about encouraging us to rest, very good about encouraging us to be with our spouses, really good about reminding us the importance of prayer and connecting with God and following and seeking Him out as we're doing ministry. And a lot of times we get caught up in the ministry life of things. We forget about our own spiritual life. And so NYWC reinforced that idea that I've got to be caring for my soul, my personal walk, is just as much as I'm caring for my students. And so NYWC was a great place for me to reconnect, get some rest, and really feel renewed for the work and the ministry that we were being called into for the coming year. So this year's National Youth Workers Convention is coming up. It's going to take place later on the month here in November. I'll put the dates on the screen. You'll see them somewhere down here at the bottom. I'll put the location on. The sad thing is it's booked. It's completely sold out. There's a couple thousand youth workers registered. So I can't encourage you to sign up, because if you're not signed up at this point, there's no room. So I'm pretty much just sharing maybe for next year, to think about participating next year. But I'm really excited. YS is going through a ton of changes and transition, and I'm really excited about who's at the leadership, and I'm really excited to hear and see the things that they're going to be doing this year. I've heard a little bit. All of it's rumor. I don't want to speculate or say too much of what's about to happen, but I am very excited for it, and I can't wait to go. This year we're going to return. We're going to be on staff, serving in the hub, which is kind of like the central information place for all of the convention. And so we're looking forward to meeting some youth workers, to answering questions, to helping you guys find a seminar or a breakout session that you want to see, or something that will help you with a situation or something you're dealing with in your ministry. Anyhow, I'm probably coming pretty close to my 12-minute limit here if I'm not already there, but all I want to say is I can't wait for National Youth Workers Convention coming up here in just a few weeks. We're excited to be a part of this tremendous ministry. I guess what we can ask is, if National Youth Workers Convention has impacted or shaped your ministry in some way, would you share that in the comments below? Just how over the years, something you learned, something you heard, something you saw, something that got impressed upon you, if it came from the National Youth Workers Convention, I'd love to hear that story, and what it's done for you and for your ministry. If you could leave that below. I've written a number of blog posts, excuse me, I've written a number of blog posts about the convention. I'm going to add their links down here below, and if you want to read any more of my thoughts, I talk a lot about the benefits and the perks and the way that it's impacted me over the years. I'll share all those below. But what is it, if you've attended NYWC before, how has it impacted and shaped your ministry? Leave those comments below. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Would love for you to subscribe and then make sure your notifications are on. We're attempting to do this vlog Monday through Friday as much as we can, just little quick snippets of things about youth ministry. We try to keep it to 12 minutes or so, 10 to 12 minutes, but would love to have you subscribe, be a part of this, and as always, give us a thumbs up because that helps me see that you like the content that we're talking about. All right, guys, all I have for today. We'll see you next time.